Hello, good evening, and welcome to Cafdil Healthcare here on Cafdil Television. Tonight on Cafdil Healthcare, we are going to explore the crucial topic of family care and management of the aged and how we can better support them as they navigate their golden years. And I hope you have your grandmother, your grandfather is alive. And so this topic becomes very, important for you and I. Certainly, it is a stage that you and I are going to go through before we die. My name is Kojo Arthur. My guests are seated already. I will introduce them right after this break. Stay with me.
Since time immemorial, God has always communicated himself and his will through various voices. The prophets, the kings, the judges, not forgetting John the Baptist, who was a precursor to Jesus Christ and gave us the will of God. We bring to you Voices from the Valley. This is a program designed by the Conventual Franciscan Friars in Ghana in collaboration with Cafdil TV to bring you in-depth insight in our faith, catechesis, and various Catholic teachings which will help you in your journey as a pilgrim. I know you cannot miss this program, and I highly encourage you that you shouldn't miss this program because it is Voices of God from the valley of prayer and silence. Join us this and every Sunday at 3 p.m. and a repeat on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. here on Cafdil TV and on our various social media platforms, YouTube, Cafdil EDU, and Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast. Let us meet and share what God has for us through the Voices from the Valley.
Make me a means of your peace.
Welcome back. You're still watching Cafdil Healthcare here on Cafdil Television. And like I said, we are going to discuss family care and management of the aged. Since a stage that you and I are going to go through, it is very important that we get to know all those aspects and see how best we can put things in place so that when we grow, things don't become difficult for us. And I have with me Farouk El Shaddai. He is a rotation nurse at Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, and also Chandi Ephraim Azamandie. He is a public health nurse, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Gentlemen, you are welcome.
Thank you.
I hope your grandfather and mother are alive.
No, we just buried them not long ago.
Chandi, yourself?
No, but I still have old people in my house.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
But you also have old people.
Yes, please.
Yeah, certainly all of us have old people in our house. But like I said, family, family is very, very important. But I will first ask you to tell us, when we say a family, who are they?
Okay, so when we say a family, just the basics, we say there are people that are bonded by blood. That is a family. But when you go into various sections of the world, and especially in this our contemporary Africa, a family can extend to everybody. So there are instances where people will welcome people into their homes and they become part of their family. But we are looking at how the people relate, So a group of people that are bonded by blood, by relations, that stay together, that is what we say a family is when we are referring to this kind of issues.
So if the person is not your blood, you don't consider?
Yeah, so that's why I say blood or relationship. Yeah, so sometimes you realize that a neighbor becomes a family in the long run. Yes, so you say that, oh, this person, we relate more or less like a family, not just friends or somebody outside. So in that case, you welcome the person in as a family.
That's good. So who exactly do we consider aged, and what marks the beginning of this life stage?
Okay, so in aging, it's continuous. From birth, you crawl, walk, run, and do all those things till you die. But when we talk about the aged, we are talking about somebody who have lived the best part of his or her life. So if you take, for instance, when you're considering the aged, we are looking at the world documented sources that will tell you that age of retirement is 60. So that is the early aged. Then from 65, 70, 75, they will call them the late aged. So on the basis of our discussions, we will stick to an aged being somebody who is 60 years and above. So that is what we consider an aged.
So these are the people that we're going to consider today, how to care for them.
Yes, so definitely as part of our education, we'll get to realize that some might not have reached 60, but due to one or two things, maybe 50, 55, they are considered as part of the aged. Yeah, because there are various things that in our discussion will come across that will inform you that makes people age. We have some medical conditions that will make somebody look older whilst the person is younger. So as we go on, we'll get to understand that. But today, let's consider those that are retired, because oftentimes than not, there are those that we neglect so much in society. And there are those people that we don't actually understand.
That is from 60 years
Yes,
and
60
above.
and above. Yes.
But if you go to some other countries, they go on retirement at age 65
Yes.
and above.
Yes, in Ghana it was 65 before it came down to 60 because of labor. They had to bring it down to let some go so that there will be space for employment of others. So when you actually read through the labor revolutions of Ghana, you realize that even at a point it was 70, 75, came down to 60, and currently people are even advocating you should go back to 65.
Yeah.
So it has been changing over
I think
the
that
years.
would do. That would be the best. All right. So Farouk, we all know aging happens, right? And but I want to know, how does the process actually unfold inside our body?
Okay, so with this concept, we have something that we call the beginning of human life. Within our bodies, there is something that we call cells. It's the cells that grows to become tissues, and it's a systemic thing. From tissue, then they become organs in that way. So if the cells start to degenerate or the cells start to die due to the aging, that's when it all starts. Please, are you getting it?
Yes.
So initially, the cells will start dying. Under normal process, they are supposed to replicate themselves as we are growing up. But the further we are aging, it starts deteriorating. That's the cells start dying, and our body loses its elasticity and all those kind of things. So you see our skin being wrinkled and we losing weight and all those stuff. So that's how it happens.
Is it natural?
Yes, so it's a natural thing as we are growing up.
Okay,
So Chandy made mention of, you see some, okay, you said due to some medical conditions.
yes, so just as he was saying, and when you talk about aging, so just as he was saying, it's all about cell related. There are various theories that will tell you how the person age. But in order not to go to the science of the theory, let's stick to the basic theory, which is about the cells. So we have something we call cell senescence or senescence. So senescence simply says that at this particular point in time, the cells will cease to divide, or they will cease to regenerate. So when we say regeneration, we are simply saying that as we are growing, some cells are dying, others will take over. But at a point in time in your life, those that are dying, they are nothing that will take over. So they are dead and they become an issue in the system. So one, they are not replicating to make you younger. Two, the dead cells are in your system causing problems. So there are a lot of theories. We have the free radical theory, we have the wear and tear theory, we have the error theory, which is basically related to the cell division theory. But for the basics of this, when we go to the changes that they go through, they will now get to understand the theories that are applicable to each part of the system. But what naturally makes us to grow old is because of what? Cessation of what? Cells to generate.
So
Yes.
that's what happened.
Yes,
in
that
the
is
body.
what makes us grow old. That is the natural order of aging,
Okay.
barring any sickness. Barring any sickness. We have some sicknesses, something like Grampy. I don't know if you know Grampy. Grampy is a musician in Tanzania or somewhere. He's around 24, 26 years, but he looks very old, smallish like that. So we have some medical conditions. That means the person physical appearance will be old, but the person is young, even with age. But the natural order of growth, that is what happens. So even if you go to some theories, we have something we call the biological clock, where they will tell you that the biologists will tell you that everybody is programmed to move from one point of life to other point in life. So as you are moving, whether you like it or not, when it is that time for you to experience what you are experiencing, you can't dodge it, you experience it. So you realize that if it is time for you to maybe to start losing your sight, you lose it. To start having joint problems, you have it. So that means that God have programmed us all that we are going through this one. So program simple means that from 9 to 10, this is what's happening. 10 to 11, this is what's happening. So there's another theory, the biological clock theory, that will tell you that all of us are being programmed, so you can't dodge. So you realize that in your intro you said it. If we will not pass on now, we will all get there, because none of us can dodge growing old.
So why is it so important to focus on the needs of our elderly, population, and how does it impact society as a whole?
Okay, so with the reason why we should pay attention to the aged is that oftentimes and not, we don't understand the aged. We think that most of the things they are doing, they are pretending. We all have old people in the house. So at a point in time, you realize that either they are exaggerating too much or they are pretending, where they will tell you that they can't see. To you, you feel that they can see. Then they are doing a lot of things and you feel that they are pretending. And most of the aged are being neglected. And once they are being neglected, they become a burden on the nation. At that point in time, they are not productive. So they are a burden on the nation. And now their families have neglected them, accusing them of various kind of things. And they further neglect them. They become a burden. And now when you go to culture, so you understand socialization, where the older generation passes norms to the younger generations. Now if we don't take care of our older generations, we don't spend time with them, we don't regard them as people of part of us, how will they pass some of these norms to the current generation? So that is why you now realize that nowadays, the youth of us, we live anyhow. Because if you ask us, how many of us spend time with our grandparents? Even when you dress and you come out and your grandfather or your grandmother calls you and tell you that what you are wearing is not good, you think that she's a cake. But if you take time to sit with her, she will try to let you understand that this your dressing will give you this kind of exposure and problems. So it is very important that we pay attention to them, to help them to live the best part of their lives. Because as at the time they are old, that is when most of them start to reflect over their lives, whether they lived a good life or they lived a not so good life. So at that time, you realize that some will be trying to now reconcile with their children, their in-laws, friends. So if you ignore them, then they will not live their best life. So it is very important we pay attention to them. So that will help them to live their best life. So that when we get there, so I'll just chip in. There's a place in some places I will not mention names, but that they will tell you that when you go there, that's how they treated their grandchildren. So that is why that's how they treated their parents. That is why their children are also treating them that way. So you realize that the culture there will expose you not to respect that. So if you treat your parents in their old age very well and your children are seeing, when you also grow old, they also treat you well. But if you treat them bad, when you grow old, they'll give you the same thing. Because that time their grandmother used to visit, you let them go back. So when you also visit, don't expect that you stay long. You also go back. So that is why we have to pay attention to them. Yes.
So, okay, so some of them are unable to provide the needs and so forth. So now that we are not grown yet, what are some of the things, Farouk, that you think it's important that we put in place so that when we grow, we are not going to lack certain things?
Okay, so of the things that we need to put in place so that we doesn't lack when we grow up is, we have to save whilst we are working right now. Right now we are working. We have the strength, we have the energy. So whatever that we think is going to be a problem in the near future, we have to start preparing towards it because it is a thing that is coming to us. We cannot escape from that. So we need to prepare towards it. So we have to get a pension trust. We have to exercise regularly. We have to, engage ourselves in a certain activity that is going to keep us fit. And also we have to get some social interactions from our family and friends so that when the time comes, it is not going to be like we are isolated or we are being neglected by our family people. Because if we establish a good communication with even those around in our community, I think when we are old, we are still going to get people around.
You made mention of saving. Today, some people are paid, they are underpaid. You understand? How are they even going to save?
Okay, so with that, when we talk about saving, it's not about saving a huge or taking all your money that you are being paid into a bank or something, but a little, small one that you can, save for yourself. You have to do that.
Farouk, I understand you perfectly, but it's not easy. When you go to some other institutions, some are paid like 600, 500 at this time.
Yes.
How is such a person going to save? It's difficult.
Yeah, sure.
It's good, but rather invest. I think investment will do something. Start selling and stuff so that you can invest. It's a very delicate issues. This one's when they come here. I'm passionate about this part because I've visited some places and their salaries are Charlie. It's nothing to write home about. You're still watching Cafdil television, and that is Cafdil Healthcare, and we are discussing family care and management of the aged. Sandy, let's. You've already said something about how the process of the aging. I want you to reiterate on some of the most significant specific changes, that occur in the aging process.
Okay, so with aging, the first thing you see in an old person is that the person's skin will start to wrinkle. Yes, the person will start to have dry skin. This happens, you see, it happens because the skin will have to be hydrated. So whilst the person is aging, the cells of the skin are dying. So as I said earlier on, whilst it's dying, it will leave the dead tissues on it. So when it does that, the other organs in the body that are supposed to produce water to hydrate the whole skin are also losing their ability to produce water. So it happens that way. Little water will be produced. When a little water is being produced, it will be taken up by the very vital organs, exposing the skin to the mercy of dryness. So the old people will be that all the time their skin is dry. Then sometimes they are complaining, "Oh, my skin is itching, itching, itching." Then you will say that all the time you're complaining that your skin is itching. So at a point in time you feel that it's an alarm bell they are blowing. No, it is their system. Their system is going down, so they have to experience it. Then secondly, most of the old people have problems with their joints. So they have these knee problems, waist problems, elbows. All the time they are complaining of bone problems. So what happens there is that in old age, the bone density starts to reduce. Okay, so the strength of the bone starts to also reduce. Calcium reduces, production of calcium reduces. Then production of synovial fluid reduces. So now the joints.
What are the synovial fluid?
Yeah, so now they are more or less like the cushion or the buffers at the joints.
Okay.
That will not make the bones to be in direct contact to cause pain. But now as they are growing, the production of the synovial fluid reduces. So now the fluid in the joints are less than required. Okay. So when it is less, it increases what? Friction. It makes the bones come closer than they are supposed to be because the buffer, the cushion, is reduced. So they listen, the joints are paining them. Then their bones, they easily break their bones. If they fall, they easily break because bones become brittle because of what? Low density in the mass. The mass bone density reduces because there's less production of calcium. And you know calcium aids in what? Production, density, and stiffness of the bones. Now, they also have problem with their sight. Most of them cannot see. Even nowadays, we are not old, but we can see. But theirs, for whatever reason, ours might be as a result of a sickness. But with them, most of them, it's not as a result of sickness. It's as a result of aging, where the optic nerves and all those things are losing their functioning. Okay. Then we have the 3Ds. Most of the time, we will normally say the 3Ds and 2Ps. We talk about dementia, talk about delirium, depression, Parkinson's diseases, then the Alzheimer's diseases. All are related to what? The neuro part of the person. In old age, so most of them, they will talk to you. Then you go and come. They say they didn't say anything. It's not intentional. They are what? The mind or the brain is failing them.
That's the dementia.
Dementia, because the brain cells are not, they don't regenerate. Natural brain cells don't regenerate. When they are dead, they are dead. That's why people get stroke. So the brain cells will not what? Regenerate. So they suffer all these things. And depression. They feel that people are doing things that they used to do, they could have done. Now they can't do them. So they become depressed. They become depressed. They sometimes say things that you don't understand. They will start talking, go and bring other things, bring other things, bring other things. And you feel that they are intentionally doing it. It's not an intention. You have to pay attention to them. So when we get to the management, we'll get to understand how we are going to manage all these things that I'm talking about. And sometimes with the eyes, you realize that most old people will tell you that they can't see, mostly in the afternoon, daytime, but in the night, they can see. You understand? And people will say that they are witches. You that you say you can see in the daytime, but you can see in the night. It's because of the anatomy of the eye. So you realize that daytime, the people will have to constrict. But in the night, it will have to what? Dilate. Open to get more light, to get more images to see. So with them, in the night, most of them are able to see in the night. It's not because they are witches, but it's because in the night, the people will what? Will open up more to allow a lot of things to enter. No, that's so.
It's very mysterious.
Yes, it's the education. We were all like that before we got to the education. So just like we are saying, there's somebody in the house who doesn't understand why the grandma only sees in the night. The grandma can walk around, pick whatever she wants. She won't complain. But daytime, the grandma will tell you that I can see and all those things. It's because of the anatomy of the eye. If the eye anatomy is failing them, so as you and I are sitting here, when we are being exposed in the afternoon, the pupil will have to what? Constrict, so that it will not put a lot of light into the eyes to cause problems. So in their cases, it will dilate, open up for more in the night. So that is what happens.
So physically, can somebody just look at you and tell you are aging?
Physically, without knowing your age.
Yes, without knowing your age.
So that's what I'm saying. So sometimes what happens physically is that without knowing your age, you can say somebody is an aged or somebody is grown if the person precipitates the signs of an aged.
But I mean,
not
apart
all
from
the time
the
that,
dry skin and
yes,
stuff.
but not. So, for instance, you talk about gray hair, where
Okay.
people mistake gray hair for
aging.
In aging, yes, there's gray hair. Their gray hair follows the natural order of what? Aging, where the hair and the coloration, production, all of them are losing their functions. So it will leave them to have the gray hair. But we also know very well that young people like us also have gray hair now. So there is a bit of a difficulty to physically see somebody and say this is an old person. And you know, in society too, when somebody talks a lot of things, they say that you talk like an old person. So when you were inside and all that. But physically, you can't use your eyes to see somebody without the person exhibiting these symptoms to say that the person is old.
All right. So when Farouk, when these changes begin to show up, you know, how can families manage them effectively at home to ensure, you know, their loved ones are well cared for?
Okay, so we will start with the modification of the house. Right now they are aged, so whatever that will put them at risk of falling or endangering themselves, you have to get rid of it. Like pouring water on the floor, they are aged, so anything that is slippery can get them injured themselves. You can help them by putting a rails on the wall so that they can hold it whenever that they are working. You should also give them something to do, not as in heavy duty on them, but something small that they will do in order to enable them to exercise their body. But it should be a safe modification. Please, do you get what it?
Yes.
Yes, it should be something that whatever that they are doing, your eye should be on them, so that they shouldn't go contrary to whatever that has been given. And also, you should interact with them when it comes to their society.
Okay.
By engaging them in activities like whenever there is an derby in the community, you should help them, send them to that place so that they can go and sit there, watch it mentally, help them in games and all those stuffs. Reading, engaging them in reading and all those stuffs helps them.
What about if the person can't read?
If they can't read, you can engage them in storytelling, telling them stories for them to listen.
Hey, really?
Yes. That one helps them. That one helps them mentally. It stimulates their mental health. It helps them with their mentality, so that they will not be timid and all those stuff. Yes, so that's how it is.
Chandy.
Yes, so you also have to make sure that at all point in time you hydrate them well. They get enough water to drink. So if they can't, if you know some of them, because you said they are difficult, they will not be drinking water. So something fluid. You can do mash kenke, something that they like, they enjoy taking. Then you also have to modify their food, because we are talking about, you know, they need proteins. The cells are failing, but they need to be sustained, to be maintained. So they have to eat protein-dense food, calcium-dense food, potassium-dense food. The potassium-dense foods will help in avoiding some of the free radicals from them being involved in those free radical things. And for their sight, you can try to get them to the hospital if there's money for the doctors to look at it. If it's not a glaucoma issue, they can help them with what? An aid for them to see. Then we also talk about the dementia that we were talking about. The dementia, the delirium, the depression. As he said, you have to try to encourage them to do activities that will stimulate their brains. So for instance, if you have children in the house, don't try to let the children shy away from interacting with their grandparents. Let them have time with their grandparents. The interactions, the playing, the children and engaging in the grandparents are going to stimulate their mental faculties to still keep them at bay. So you realize that those grandparents that are taking care of their grandchildren, they still do well in their mental thinking than those that have been abandoned. So, and you can also get them to join these culture clubs. Like when we say culture club, not like to go and dance. Colleague aged clubs, okay? So let's say in that community, there's an aged old people there. They meet maybe every Friday. Also send your old person there, okay? So you need to support them in a lot of ways. Financially, you need to support them. You need to give them the security that whatever they need, you provide for them. So when you go out sometimes and you even buy things for the children, buy for them. When they are sick, send them to the hospital. Then they are well assured that you can take care of them. Then also, if you will have to support them financially, you have to also let them feel important in the house. So when you call for a family meeting, don't say that they are old, they don't have sense, they can't make any contribution. That one depresses them the most. Because just a while ago, 20 years ago, they were those making the decisions for you. Then you are now saying that, like, we are not no more important.
Yeah.
Then you sit us around. And when you also involve them in a decision making, whatever they say, whether it makes sense or not, appreciate it. But at the end of the day, the decision you make, you understand. But you don't just invite somebody into a meeting for the person to be a puppet. Let them talk. Appreciate what they talk. And if they belong to a church society, that's why we also encourage the church societies that once in a while visit the older people in their houses to let them feel belonging. So CYO, you have older people, no, that's a youth organization. Children, maybe, I want to use a typical example from the church, maybe St. John's. Yes, St. John's, you have older people there. Then maybe in about a month, you've not seen one of the old person in church. And the person is not in the hospital. You know, oftentimes they're not. It's only in the hospital that we visit them. But the person is not in the hospital. Then some of the youth amongst the group or even the members can organize, go and visit this person. Whether the person is rich or the person is poor, visit the person, let the person feel important. Okay, so that is why we are saying that when we do all these things for them, they don't demand a lot, but the few that they want, we should be able to provide for them. We shouldn't say that because of all the time, daytime, you complain how you can see, but in the night, look at you walking around picking things. It's true, the person that died, that they accused you in the village and we brought you to town, you don't understand the person. So this is how we are going to manage them in the house. As he said, look at the house surrounding. If you stay in a story building, okay, then prior to your mother's retirement, your mother had a bedroom upstairs. Now that your mother is retired, basic, you have to bring your mother downstairs. Explain to her, sit with her. Ma, where you have reached, I can't risk you climbing the stairs. I don't have an elevator. So you have a room downstairs. It doesn't mean that I have relegated you. but are the reasons. Then, if her room, her tiles are the shiny ones, explain to her, get the carpet, woolen carpet, put it on top of the tile. Explain to her, Ma, it's not like I don't want your room not to be nice, but I don't want the situation whereby the children will come to play with you, then they'll pour water there. You will not see the water. Right now, your bones are not strong anymore. Then you slip, you fall. We're all going to be in trouble. You explain to them. When you do all these things, they will understand that you care for them and they will live longer than you think. And what about those of us who don't have, that are not rich, but we have older people in our houses? How are we going to manage them? Constantly engage them in conversations, okay? Conversations. Then in their room, try as much as possible to decongest their rooms. You know, sometimes you can enter an old person's room and everything that she accrued during her 8 days, all the big bowls, everything is congested in one room, in her room. The only space she has is between her bed and the door. Sit with the person, explain to the person that we are not selling them, we are not taking them anywhere, but we are taking them to another room, maybe the storeroom, to keep them for you. Every morning, if you want, when you wake up every morning, you can go inside there, have a look at it. So you have to decongest, because at the end of the day, if the person experiences any home accident, the money you are going to spend on the person, and you know that's why most of the time people abandon old people to die, because the person feels that this person is old. We've gone to the hospital, they say we should pay this amount of money for care. Then they'll go and write against discharge, because the person cannot pay for herself, cannot take decisions like that. The children will go and write against medical discharge, take the person to the house, the person will pass on. So you, in effect, have contributed to the death of the person. So why not help yourself by explaining things to the person? So we shouldn't abandon them, we shouldn't neglect them, but we should involve them in our day-to-day activities. And that is how we are going to take care of them.
Still watching Cafdil Healthcare on Cafdil Television, and we're still discussing family care and management of the aged. And continue to follow us on our social media handles, that's Facebook and also on YouTube as well. Shandy, again, I want you to tell us the specific needs of the elderly and how can we ensure they are met in both the physical and emotional sense.
Yeah, so as for the needs of the agents, we'll break it down into a lot of things. So we can talk about spiritual needs. Spiritual needs. You see, at that point in their lives, most of them are concerned with their spiritual needs because they feel that they are going to their maker. So do I want to go to, let's say, heaven or hell? I have lived my life where I have reached. I have done a lot of things. So this is the time for me to reflect, make amends, ask God for forgiveness, and be good with everybody so that I can have a very good place or a very good destination to go. So you, the family, will have to support this person. If the person is a Christian and the person wants to be going to church, support the person in going to church. If the person wants to be praying, support the person in prayer. So if the family is sitting in the hall to pray and this client is in the bedroom and the person cannot come down to pray with you, send the prayers to the bedroom, involve the person in prayer. If the person is a Muslim and the person wants to go to the mosque, aid the person to go to the mosque. If the person cannot go to the mosque, but the person sits in the house, provide the person with the necessary equipment to aid the person to pray. If the person is a traditionalist, wherever the person will find peace with God and wants to pray, help the person to go and pray. These are the spiritual needs that we have to assist them with. And the church or the mosque also have a role to play. So, you know, the church is a family. The mosque is a family. The traditional home is a family. So, that's what I'm saying. If the person belongs to a society, or even if the person doesn't belong to a society in the mosque or in the church, but once in a while, they should find time to visit the person at home, share 1 or 2 Bible verses with the person, a prayer with the person, and the person is okay. And I know with some of the churches, they even go to an extent of sending communion to the elderly in their homes. These are their spiritual needs. Now, when you come to their emotional needs, that is why I say you involve them in decision making. Involve them in decision making. Discuss issues with them. If you are in the house and you want to do a renovation in the house, discuss it with them. They feel very important. Their emotions are settled. So when they sit down and the carpenter comes, the carpenter is working, they are okay because they have already informed me that the carpenter is working. So these are their emotional support that they need. Involve them in family decision. Let the children involve them in everything that is going on in the family. Even if they don't have the financial background, involve them in whatever that is going.
Right.
Then when you go to the economic needs, then provide them. At that point in time, most of them are not working. They don't have money. They have used all their money to do their medical cares, to pay their bills, and to do this thing. So when they call you as a child, they call you that they need money to go for their reviews. Don't start shouting that you used all your money to do ABCD, so now you are worrying me. Support them. Support them to do all those things. So economically, you have to support them with shelter, food. You have to support them with a good place so that they can sleep. And security, you have to support them so that they will be rest assured that as I'm sitting down right now, if something happens to me, my children are going to be there, or my family is going to be there for me. All these things that we said that you should support them with, the goal is that they know that at that point they are going to die. I don't know if you interact with old people, most of them, they will tell you,
some will even ask, when am I going?
Yes. So at that point in
time.
Yes, at that point in time, they know they are going to their maker.
Yeah, sure.
It's natural. When you reach there, you feel it. It's natural. That is how, according to science, you have the psychological theories of aging, the spiritual theories of aging. When you learn all these theories of aging, you know that it's true. You know one thing, when those people in the hospital, most of them, when they are going to die, they are aware they are dying. They are aware. Most of them, especially the aged, most of them are aware they are dying. So we have something we call the grieving process. So they move from one channel to the other, to the other, to the other before they pass on. So it's the same thing. As they are growing, as they are aging, they are aware that they are moving towards an end of a beginning. So you need to support them with that.
Yeah. So Farouk, so in all this, are we doing enough to support and uplift them in our communities?
Yes, please. That's what I would say. But some communities are not doing it well because of how the perception that they have about old age people.
Okay, so we are doing enough.
Yeah.
That's your perception.
Yes,
that's
not actually. Some people are doing it, all right, but others too are doing it in some way.
All right.
So let me add to what it's saying.
Okay.
You see, generally, I think the rich people are doing it. Now left with the middle income than the low income people, whether we are doing it. Oh, it's true. Sometimes when you visit this estate, you realize that the old man is the one that actually on our board, right? So he's still having the money saved in the bank. The children are all there, the grandchildren are there. They are proud to associate with them. But what about we those that are the less privileged? Do we want our children to even be associated with our parents? That is the question. So let me take myself as an example. We from the north, most of us from the towns in the north, our parents are in the villages. So where in the village where somebody is old and a child dies in the house, first suspicion is the old person that kills the person. So when it happens that way, then they do their African chemistry, and they confirm that you are the one that was responsible. Even your own children will not want to bring you to their houses, because if you could do that to somebody, it means automatically when you come and you are now closer to your houses. So we have some people that naturally, they only know their grandparents by pictures because of the myths surrounding them. So if you ask me, generally, we are not doing well. We are not doing.
Mentioning rape, the myth.
Yes, yes.
So we also know that while aging, often gets a negative rap.
Yes.
You understand? So, what are some of the surprising benefits, and strength that comes with an aging population?
Yeah, so as for the benefits, I initially mentioned that culturally they aid in the socialization.
Okay.
And just passing the norms of society from the old age to the younger generation. So that is what has kept our tradition as Africa moving. That has not made it to die. Those are some of the benefits.
Right.
And also, to some families, old age benefits because at that old age, the mothers, their fathers are able to take care of their children whilst they go out to be productive. So that you have your children and your mother is there. You can now go to work at peace because your mother will cook and watch the other part of it. So it helps, okay? Then the disadvantages are that it puts a lot of pressure on our health system. Most of them don't actually have the resources. There's a myth that all aged are poor. Yes, but
that used to be, not now.
Yeah, so most of them don't actually have the resources. So they put a burden on the government. They are not productive anymore. So there's a burden on the government. But then it shouldn't be a problem because other people have paid to take care of them. That was one of the brain behind the national health insurance.
Yeah, sure.
Then these sleep problems, so that the rich will actually contribute to cater
for the
poor. So all in all, the most important is that if you have one, take good care of the person, so that the person will tell you good things will follow you. Then when you also reach there, somebody also take care of you. When we're talking about the changes, I forgot to talk about the physical changes that we experience in them. So the skin wrinkles, you can manage them by getting them pomade that are oily, so that it will prevent the drying.
Right.
The drying. And with most of the arthritis that they go through, the joint pains, mostly it's not good to be giving them painkillers to take, because at that point the liver and the kidneys that are supposed to do the detoxing are also having their functions go down. So you deal with the topical painkillers, where you once in a while, when they are complaining that it's so serious, then you get them maybe diclogel, then you do a massage for them. But the massage too shouldn't be that hard, because you risk also breaking the bones there. Just do it for them. And sometimes
very fragile.
Yeah, sometimes you explain to them. You explain to the old people that, you are suffering from this because of A, B, C, just as I established. The synovial fluid have reduced, making the buffer to reduce. So this is why you are experiencing it. So it's not like somebody have done you. It's not like the time you were a worker, you didn't take good care of somebody, the person have cursed you. No. It's by virtue of you growing, and it happens. You explain to them. So sometimes when they come to the hospital and you even talk to them without giving them medication, they are okay. They just need you to talk to them, explain to them why this is happening to them. With the men, with men, their sex drive increase in old age. But with women, it reduces in old age. They have to explain to them why this is happening. Okay? So when you understand what they are going through, one, it will help you to explain better to them, so that you'll be at peace. At some point now, they also feel that their children intentionally are punishing them. Explain to them. And two, it also helps you to prepare very well before you get to that stage. You understand? We have supplements that help the aged to still have their functioning well. There's a book, I've forgotten the name of the title of the book. There's a book written about this old age, how to look 20 in your old age. Now there are a lot of supplements that the rich people use. You can see an old woman of 50 years looking like a 35-year-old woman.
All right. Our time is running nearer, but Farouk, let's talk about some of the most common misconceptions and set the record straight. Okay. What are those things, those that you've heard, the common ones?
Okay, if old age, most people would think that old age is being weak, but actually it's just a myth. It is something that is not true. Old age doesn't mean that you are supposed to be weak.
Why is it not true? Because things that you can do, you can no more do.
You can, but a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are very strong. Okay. It's just a matter of you taking good care of yourself. You can be old and still be doing things that young people will be doing.
Yeah, I heard that 80-year-old man gave birth. Anyway, so things that you can do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and also, when they talk of the dementia, they think that it's normal associated with age, but that one is also not true. Dementia is a disease, so it is not something that, so far as that you are an elderly person, dementia is common. No, dementia is a different thing altogether as compared to that of age. You can be old and you wouldn't get the dementia. The memory function will be low, but it doesn't mean that dementia is right with age.
So let me add one or two.
Our time is getting, but I just want
the most important one.
What is it?
Old age is not witches, being a witch or a wizard. Yes. If the person is old, doesn't make the person a witch. Yes, so that is why I've just explained. It's the anatomy of the eye.
Yes, so. But do we have any support system in place for them?
Yes. LEAP is doing well. LEAP is supporting the old age. NHIS is supporting the old age. Okay. Then we also have Help Ghana. There are a lot of NGOs that are supporting the old age. And even Senate, as from the government, is supporting the aged. And Cafdil, is it Cafdil? For the military?
Yes,
Cafdil is supporting the old age. And even some MPs are supporting the old. There's an MP in Western Region. He has built a very big hall where, every week, the bus goes around the villages, pick all the old people there for care. Then after that, they bring them back. Okay. So there are a lot of support system for the aged. Right. But those that will want to sign on their old people to those support systems shouldn't also end up exploiting them. Even there are some help that will look at you, your age, and what can benefit you. If it is a mini shop, they will establish for you, and you should be doing something to keep up. All right. So they are there.
All right. I appreciate you. I appreciate your comment. Viewers, this is where time will allow us to be with you, and I hope that you and I have learned a lot, that we will begin to put things in place, and the older people surrounding us, we are also going to take very good care of them as well. You heard Farouk El Shaddai, he's a rotation nurse, and also Chandi Ephraim Azamandi, public health nurse from Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Thanks for coming. Thank you for watching. Thanks to all the crew. Same time next week. Good night.